tower at the Grand Munster. Scanning the horizon just to give it looks like today out to the entrance to the lake. This church across the outlet of the River Lamont, I haven't been able to identify what it is or its age, but it's right across from the tower here at the Gross Munster. And this is viewing upriver of the Lamont toward the horizon. Walking down the stairwell here of the Gross Munster Tower. Idea how this circular stairwell functions. Didn't mean to get the modern fire extinguisher in there, but I managed to do that. Okay. Inside the church, near the pulpit area. On the other side with Mark and John. Okay, this is down in the crypt of the Gross Munster. And that's a statue of Charlemagne, who they indicate probably was the one who constructed the first church here. This is some of the stone carvings in the walls of the crypt zone. Here's another on the other side of the crypt. I can't really make anything much out of it, but there it is anyway. This is in the overhead of the crypt. Paintings inside the top. The Lamont River. This is near the outlet coming from upriver. Panorama of some of the old buildings that line the side of the river. This is on the west side. This is coming in to the east side for right now. The Gross Munster on the west side of the Lamont River. This is a landscape scene around Zolant and Neuhaus in southern Germany, on the way from north of Schaffhausen, on the way toward Rothenburg and the Neckar River. This just will give an idea of some of the scenery. Okay, this is another landscape of the area. This is just up on top of the hill north of the Zoom-Lam Neuhaus area. It seems like to me it gives you a flavor of the cleared hills where they were doing their farming. And now I'm scanning the horizon. in the opposite direction as we look across the hills. And right back through there is where the Neuhaus area was, where we stopped as we came into southern Germany. A little village called Riedmöhlinger or something like that on the map. Went up Highway 27, taking the back ways toward Rottenburg, and another panoramic view of the landscape in this area. Boy, it's really quite beautiful. This is on the outskirts of north of Rottweil community here. Pretty good sized little place. And I'm just trying to scan the landscape horizon here in this area on the way to Rotenburg and Horb. Okay, this is scanning toward the southeast from Rottweil or Rottweil. Okay, we're just kind of northeast of Schönberg, and we're looking down at in the distance. That's the city of Illingen, and the hillside behind. Another panoramic view with the mountains in the background. There's a sign. Got some modern stuff in my shot, I'm sorry. St. Michel's Chapel here at the Berg. Outside grounds, that's St. Michel's Chapel. big entrance guard tower. This is the outside of the castle, main castle itself. Okay, this is from the ramparts of the castle, looking out toward our areas, toward Rottenburg and Horb. This is about as good as I can do as far as panorama is concerned of this whole area in which we're interested. There we go on the other side of the guard station, overlapping and looking down areas below us. Move out just a bit. Okay, here we go. Looking kind of, I think, toward the southeast. Looks like one of the old roads that wound up through this area toward the castle. Now a little bit of overlap. Now looking back toward the south to the southwest, the area from which we came from, Switzerland, Schaffhausen down that way. And there's Beilingen in the distance. According to the compass that's up here on the glass, is this area right down here that I thought I was looking toward Switzerland. I'm really looking southwest, or west-southwest, and Freiburg is on this kind of a heading. And I was correct. It right out there somewhere is Rothenburg and the Neckar River, along with Horb along the river out that way as well. So that's where I'm headed, and should be there in I hope about a half hour or so. Okay, this is the entrance way, but I'm going in the outbound direction. See the detail of this whole place. It's all old stone. Pretty incredible. Wished you were here to see it. This is making that right-hand turn, heading down the area. Kind of hard to walk on these rocks, so I bounce around a bit. What's interesting is all along this area are these prisons, or these prison cells. I guess that's where they locked up their bad guys. And well, they didn't like, I suppose. Interior little courtyard was kind of neat. The flowers and so forth. Series of entrance stations with the drawbridges and so forth. recorder on. I meant to turn it off, so I got some bad shooting there. Sorry about it. Okay, this is along the road coming in toward Rottenburg from the south. Basically what the terrain looks like. Well, this is coming just south of Rothenburg, heading into the town. Coming in on. This is a panorama of the southern area of the place. Inside the church here at Rothenburg. See if I can't pan a little slower up toward the front. Now I'm looking down from the balcony into the pews toward the front of the church. Just looking back at the organs. Okay, I'm standing on the bridge that passes from the north side of town to the south, and this is the Neckar River. I suppose this is area where the spouse may have been drowned. I don't know. An old church over here. So the previous was looking east up the down. Now I'm looking downriver. This is the direction toward Horb. We got some modern day conveyances in here, I'm afraid to say. This, I guess, is one of what they call the town guilds, with Christ image on it. This is right next to the river. This is heading toward the town square. I'm not sure how to identify this particular building, but it's got a spiral on it. I guess this is as advertised, some of the guild buildings with the figures along on them. That's that same building from the side here. Okay, still walking up the street, looking at some of the buildings. Their age, I have no idea. This is that guild house again with the with the kind of images. Okay, here's the side street, cobblestone, looking up to something that looks like it. Whole section up there looks pretty old. Some kind of tower. Wonder if that's anything related to the Bensdorf Tower. I can't tell at this point. Well, here we go again. Just change to the other side of the road. And this is looking up the main cobblestone street toward the town center. Well, this is what the main thoroughfare cobblestone street looks like. Get a close up of this thing. It's laid out kind of in semicircles, outlaying and overlapping. Fortunately, we got a moving truck. It's kind of messing up my otherwise fine view of what's going on here. As we walk up the street toward town center where we visited before. Pictures. We're doing it with video. We go more toward town center. Try to walk without shaking too much. It's not easy. This is what the modern day down central Rottenburg looks like. Well, I've taken the little alleyway here because what looks like to me back here is a fairly ancient dwelling house of some sort. You can see this is right at the base of the thing, looking in the back. This is apparently the real lower level old part of this thing. This is it from the western side. Looking back at it, and I don't know how we can tell the details of it, but this thing is really got some old markings. And I went back around, climbed up in the back side of the house. See what it looks like back here. You can see it's pretty old. Even got a cobblestone walkway behind it. And this is the tile roof on that thing that from the back side. It is. Zoom in and see if we can't see what these babies look like. Well, that's it. Well, I'm back on the main cobblestone street, just checking out some of the buildings. So I think the ones right along the cobblestone, over the course of time, have had some special facelifting going on with them. When I go out back there, I find some that are not like that. I got a couple of more, I think, that I remember seeing. We'll look at. Okay, this is the town center. We got a modern day restaurant out here that's built into part of it. And the pink like building in the front, that's the town hall, and that's the St. Martin Church. These are buildings along the side of the square. And this is the buildings that line it on the south side. So painted around to the church in the background. Okay, that's the church on the video. Then into the entranceway where I went in earlier and took some pictures and film. Over here to the right, back off a bit, there's the colonnade here. And there's these buildings over here haven't had quite the facelift that the ones on the main square have, so we'll take a look at those in just a moment. And indeed, this is the town hall. I think it has definitely had facelift over the course of time. But there's I'm assuming that must be the dome that sits right up on the top of it that is of such interest in our stories. See what we got here. Got the slaying of the dragon by an angel. That must be old. Now this big three-story hallway alongside the town hall has markings of also being of some antiquity value. May have been these things standing here while our man was standing in that cart, if it's pictured correctly in the movie. There's the bells. Well, we got a ring anyway, didn't we, for 4:15. I think it chimes them at the hour, and then every 15 minutes, quarter after is 1, then 2 for half, and 3 for 3/4. But anyway, Allison says this is where, the very place where he had part of his tongue removed, if I can phrase that delicately. And this is looking down a road I walked down a little while ago to go to the museum off the square. And these buildings, again, have some age to them. Now I'm going up another alleyway because back here, off where the facelifts have occurred, there are some buildings that don't have quite the reconditioning that those out there in the public have. So we'll see what this looks like a little closer up. Okay, here we are, the stairwell leading up beside it. But it's this structure was likely standing in 1525 off the main square. Other building. This is the other building looking back down that same alleyway here on the out of the public view side of things. And here we have another. As I climb the stairwell leading up the top of this hill, getting off the beaten path. Now this is the front side, or the road side, of that old building we just looked at from down below. You can see the age in this particular structure. Okay, a little further up the road, this is another old one, and notice how it seems to be just kind of bowed here on the second floor, out to the right there. Walking along, and I'm finding this wall that it looks like it may have been associated with some kind of defense structure or prison function in earlier times. Now we're looking at another. It certainly appears to be particularly old. Particularly as you look at the roof on this thing. It's had its years, and again, it's one of those some kind of rock slate type of an arrangement. Been repaired on occasion, looks like. Well, this is at the base of that house we just walked toward, and boy, you can really see the antiquity in this area down here. And let's see if we can't zoom in and find out what it's trying to tell us here. I can hardly hold my thing steady. Car chased me out of the way, I'm sorry. Now, here's the front side of that building. Now there's that tower again. I'm trying to figure out how to get at it. I'm going around it. I don't know if that's our culprit Bensdorf or not. I can't been able to figure that out. For that I am sorry. See if we can get something else around the corner. Look at it. Look at how old this stairwell. I'm going up here by a house in Munners. I'm trying to get up to that tower. Okay, this is the tower, and it's sitting on a huge wall that goes out in all directions for quite a while, and it now is back and has become, I think, a major prison in the area. It's all wired up and so forth. I'm going to try to zoom in at the top. Looks like this area, once upon a time, may have been a safekeeping for those who were looked down upon by society. Well, here we have another one of the town guilds with this name and decoration on the outside, looking down toward the main drag, and a particularly old structure down this way, and this is directly west of our square area. Well, I'm about to go into another tower structure. It's got this neat building beside it here. It's definitely old. And goes right into this corner where that tower is. I look up at the top of that thing here. Well, this is the road underneath this tower. The archway's here. It has this really old wood with this crucifixion scene above it. Well, this is that tower on the uphill side, and I couldn't get any identification from it. It's old, and they're a long time, and I couldn't climb up in it because it's barricaded off, because it has been turned into, believe it or not, high-rise apartments. Okay, I've gone all the way around to the other side, and that's that tower, and it's sitting on this, overlooking this wall. And behind the wall, obviously, is a prison. To give you an idea of the antiquity of this thing, I'll zoom in on the stone, the cornerstones. Now from over here you can see how it dominates that huge wall that goes all the way around, and there's the wall that comes this way, and on top of it are these electric things for this relatively modern structures inside. It serves, I guess it must be a prison. Now right here is that wall, and give you an idea of how high it is. There's the opening for the archers or whatever. You can see it next to these two-story houses, how big that wall really is. Now this is going down the hill, and this was, I guess, a really old stair arrangement, because it goes down under that tunnel that we'll see in just a minute, coming down from the top where this tower is. Okay, here is the area underneath the little bridge outside of that tower we went under a while ago. Again, about as far as you can see down there, it goes with this old cobblestone. This is underneath that archway. Give you a perspective of the material. Let me see if I can zoom in some here and let us see what this stuff really looks like up close, like I've been able to see it. Fantastic, isn't it? Okay, there's that tower, the small tower that's turned into apartments, and this is coming off of it down this pathway, and this whole building has been, boy, it's really eaten out. I mean, it's been, looks like it's been, had plaster effort made to it, but it is is quite rustic. Now I've been walking around and got to this little road, and here's another vantage point of that thing with a very old dwelling place in front of the tower and its wall. Back to that area right at the top. It definitely looks like it's a cell. So I can only guess, if it is the tower in question, Bensdorf, then it's kept its it's kept its identity for so many years, for all this time. What, almost 500 years, because it's now a major prison. Okay, this is a little ways out of Rotenburg heading toward Horb, and this is the Neckar River going along. Just thought I'd stop and take a shot or two along this river, where I've got some kind of natural background and terrain like it may have been years before. Okay, we just entered Bad Nierdernau, and this is looking down the Neckar River again, looking back toward Rotenburg. Now on this, looking toward the Horb side of, that's Bad Nierdernau before us, and there's the river comes this way, and then there's an outlet from what appears to be a mill system up here that's very old, and I'm going to try to zoom in toward it, get a picture of that thing. The water comes out underneath there, and you can see the bend here, and exactly what they're doing with that water I don't know, but that building has been doing this job for a long time. I don't know whether it would have been here 500 years ago or not, but I'm traveling along the Neckar River between Rotenburg and Horb, and this river road likely was the way they followed the road way back then. Now here's the front side, the road side of that mill arrangement, and there's my car. First time to show you. Well, I've walked around to the side of this thing, and you see the water flowing, and there's an old track and a bridge and a barrel here full of junk. It looks like it comes down and gets it. I don't know if it grinds it up or what it does with it. But it's definitely an old arrangement. I've been here a long time. Oh, the bells are ringing here at this Catholic church in Horb. Another church, I don't know which one it is, but it's ringing loud. Here at the corner of the Market Square, Town Market here in Horb. Some of the buildings looking up that way. Ah, here we are across the street from the Market Square. Kind Frank Vasa statue here. That's from the back side. The kind Wasser, it dates from 1579, so it postdates our man just a little bit. And here we have the same cobblestone street type arrangement in Horb that we had in Rotenburg. As you can see, Horb has a major hill in it with buildings around it, down it. Is that this one dates from 1709. It's Quite a scenic little show. I guess it's 1705. House is on the top of the hill here, looking up toward the big church. Now, here's the church on the hill. I'm not yet sure which one it is, but it has a very decorative column here on it. This is inside the church, the summer, or whatever you call it, church. On the very hill. Getting low on battery, so I'm not sure when I'm going to have to replace them here to recharge them. There's a tower here in Horeb too. I have no idea. And out on me, I'm afraid. Battery keeps running down on me, so I'm gonna have to quit. Come in here and speak the name of this place inside the cloister.
I should say the name.
Uh-huh.
Das ist das gotische Stückchen.
Okay.
I've never seen that kind of.
Used to be candles.
Yeah, long time ago. You have to fill the chair, huh?
Yeah, the furniture. Yeah, this is the doorway into the adjoining room, huh? Okay.
If you imagine that the people were eating here,
Smile, you're on candid camera. This is looking out through the open area into where they've sort of modernized the museum facing. And this is the Kleine Logia. Try to get a view of this table that was used. You can see how old it really is. It's buckling and so forth. This is across from the room that two rooms we just filmed here in this section of the monastery that's been converted to the museum.
that's also from the 15th century.
And this definitely dates to our time of reference and earlier. Okay, this room dates to late Gothic period. That's what that means, huh? Okay, this is this late Gothic room. You can tell how late it is just by looking at the floor and watch it creak underneath you as you step. Ah, there we go. Got the camera lighted up for us. Finally made its adjustment. This is the door on the inside of the room, closed. Sorry, don't have. This is, we're out in the courtyard in front of the museum, and we're looking at the part of the museum that was the original part of the monastery. And up there in those upper windows there is the rooms that we had observed from before. Okay, I'm standing inside the center garden area, looking down and this is the other one was the north side, and this is the south side, and this is the monastery we're visiting. Can you read any of that stuff? Okay, this is the east side of the cloister. And what's interesting is these beams have these things that look like nails stuck up in the top of them, and I don't know what in the world that does. And this is looking out into the garden area that's surrounded by these colonnades. Old trees. This bell originally hung in the bell tower dating to 1486, and now it's on display out here. And Schiller, one of the famous German Swiss writers, wrote a poem about it. This is the garden area for the monastery, where they grew their herbs and.
But they made it in 1925, so that's.
Okay, this is inside the Münster church. It is Gothic style. And this is the rear of the Münster Church. This is the entrance to the church, to the area of the monastery from the outside. This is what, if he had been here, this is what, if he had been to this monastery, this is what he would have seen.
Cruel. When they burned them on the on this wooden.
This is the outside of the church. On the north side. Okay, this is the east side of the monastery. This building in front of us was actually built in 1554 and is now the library. Okay, this is the old building that served as a prison. And incidentally, it still is the prison here in Schlafhausen. This fountain out front has all the markings of being very old. It has the ram on the top, which is the symbol on the flag of Schaffhausen district. Could not find a locator for around the pool to describe its time, but it looks and has all markings of being as old as those in Rothenburg yesterday. Now this is a very old building. We don't have a marker on the outside of it that we know of yet, but this is just outside the left side of the prison. You can see the antiquity in the brick. Okay, Tabea and I are just walking down.
Huh?
I'm talking to the camera, and I just wanted to get a shot of the cobblestone streets that would have been something that our man would have walked on. Okay, we're looking at the Zoom Ritter building, and I'll show shots of it like I took. Okay, this is the Zoom Ritter, and what we discovered from our plaque is that all the fancy artwork on the outside wasn't put there until 1554 of all things, but that the Gothic windows and whatnot date before the turn of the 16th century. This is one of the towers on the western corner, southwestern corner of the old city. See how tall that thing is. Now if we pan back down, where the red ends is where the original tower height was, and then in 1513 the sign says they added. I'm doing some things with that switch there. Capture